What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Friday, people. Hope you are well. Looking forward to another weekend's action as Arsenal play Crystal Palace in the Eberechi Eze derby, people. The Ian Wright derby, the who else, man? Matt Turner derby, the Sambi Lakonga, the Eddie and Ketia derby, the Rob Holding derby. There's been a lot of Crystal Palace and Arsenal deals in the last few years. Most of the time, um, we've been bumping Crystal Palace, to be fair. 35 million for Eddie and Ketia. But listen, big up to everyone. Tough game this weekend, man. A game we need to win to continue this really good form that we're in. So I hope everyone is well. I moved the show from 1:30 to 2 o'clock because Arteta's press conference was supposed to be at 1:30, and his press conference is now at 2 o'clock. In fact, they're showing it now. So there you go. Mikel dropped a curveball on us and we tried to, get the transcript, but maybe not. But listen, hit the like button, subscribe, and make sure you click that hype thing afterwards as well. Marwan Shamak, how can I forget Shamak as well, man? Yeah, 100% Shamak, the greasy-haired striker. But yeah, man, big up to everyone, Michel. Yeah, listen, man, I've always said, if the feeling is right, the train is it feels like something positive could happen this season, man. It feels like something positive. Hey, hope everyone's well, man. Apparently there's a hurricane going through the Caribbean, so I hope everyone is staying safe, man. That weather you get over there is crazy, man. So big up to all the family of the community in that part of the world, man. Stay safe, people. Make sure you stay safe. Big up to Asher. Said good morning, Curtis and the community from Canada. And we got a lot to talk about. I have just got a headline that's... Yeah, listen, do you know what? I'll be honest. I listened to half of his album. I was in the gym this morning, right? And I was halfway through and I thought, oh man, Dave's album came out this morning. So I put it on. I listened to about half of it. So I listened to the first half of it. I haven't listened to... I know there's only like 10, 11 tracks on it. So I only listened to like 5 or 6. Dave is Dave is one of them artists that you've got to be about lyrics to really appreciate him. And I'm about lyrics. I'm an old school fan of music. I love Nas and Tupac and people like that. So I can't give a full review on it, to be honest. Um, but those of you who've listened to all of it, let me know. I'm halfway through. It's all right, what I've heard. I haven't really been like wowed, but there's a couple big tunes I heard. Master of Disaster said, big up, see, I had an accident today on the motorway in Germany. Only car damage. I'm okay. Give thanks, man. Give thanks. Cars can be replaced, right? So keep it moving. Hope you're well. I'm glad that you're locked in today. I did hear about Gets. I know I'm going on about music, and a lot of you will be thinking I'm here for Arsenal, but I think I just want to say, for those of you who don't know, Gets is a huge grime artist over here in the UK. He's been arrested for drink driving. He's killed somebody in a drink driving incident, and he's going to get locked up for a long time. And the only reason I want to talk about that is because I'm somebody that when I was younger, I used to go out clubbing a lot. And I've been in cars with friends who've been drinking all night and they're driving home, and you take it for granted. And people have to learn. I'm a great believer. Learn from other people's mistakes. You don't always have to make that mistake to learn from it. Sometimes somebody else can make it and you learn from it. And I know a lot of people go clubbing and raving. Do not drive home, man. It is not worth it. He's literally ruined his whole life. And you're talking about a successful music artist. Split second, poor decision. You know what I mean? And rest in peace to the guy that was killed in that incident, man. So people, be safe. If you're gonna go out, get an Uber, get a lift home. You know what I'm saying? Them situations can be very dangerous. So everybody stay safe, man. Stay safe. Right, let's talk football, people. Let's talk football. And big up to everyone in the chat. Really appreciate your support as always, man. Do you know what? I want to talk about something quickly before we talk about Arsenal. And it's just something, a football point of view that I want to talk about. I don't know if you guys have seen the news this morning about Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday have been placed into administration and will lose 12 points due to financial issues where staff members weren't paid for 2 months in a row. They have now received the payments, but there was a delay in how long it took for them to get paid. And they've been deducted 12 points, which they were bottom of the league anyway, but 12 more points. There's a very, very good chance they're going to be relegated. The only reason I wanted to talk about this was just for a couple of reasons. Number one, heritage. You know, if you're my age or older, Sheffield Wednesday will have been a part of your footballing life growing up. You know, Benito Carboni, Paolo Di Canio, Reggie Blinker, FA Cup semi-finals being at Hillsborough. And actually, I played against Sheffield Wednesday when I was younger, and I had a really good game there. And I remember the manager after the game said something, and I was like, look, man, you know what I mean? I should be playing for you lot, not my team. And it was a really good atmosphere inside Hillsborough, and I just thought, what a big club they are. And I really think that they need to start looking at who is able to buy football clubs, not just in England, but around the world. I mean, what are the owners of that football club trying to do? Multi-millionaires have bought that club, ran them into the ground, not even paying people on time, and you're now going to get them relegated into League One. And it's like, how are they allowed to buy the club if they don't even have the means to pay the wages of the staff? It's crazy. It's something that needs to be looked at, you know. Sheffield Wednesday back in the day was a tough place to go for Arsenal, you know what I mean? They had good players. Yeah, Mark Bright. Remember when Des Walker went there? They had ballers, and now just because of owners not doing their job, that club's going to be relegated to League One, which is very, very sad. And these owners sometimes just buy these clubs, take all the money, sell them, leave them in a mess. So sad state of affairs there for Sheffield Wednesday, man, and their fan base. So yeah, man, I just thought I'd delve into that. A few of you have put stories in the chat as well about drink drivers hit on the highway into the sea in Jamaica, had to be rescued from a sinking car. Jeez, people, be safe. If you're going out partying this weekend, do not drive. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? Uber, you can get Uber in 2 minutes now. And the NBA's been hit with this gambling, and people getting arrested at gunpoint because they've been betting on NBA games. It's crazy. What's going on? I was watching a bit of Steph Curry last night, man, for the Warriors, man. Jeez, I have to get NBA streams going this year, man. I really do. Mark said, big up Big C from Jersey. There is a rumor going around Yoker is going to be benched. MLS will be the new strike. When that guy sent in that clip, I said, brother, I know football's a game of opinions, but the guy said, I think we should play Lewis Skelly up front. I was like, excuse me? Up where? Up front? I said, Ross, I know football opinions change, but that was a wild one. Big up DJ Dens in the chat, always supporting. Hope you are well. And Rayon said, Hanover, Jamaica in the building, even with a hurricane watch, still here watching. One love. Bless up, man. Everybody stay safe with this hurricane, man. It's serious. The world's crazy, man. I'm telling you. You're better off in your house. Brass Buzz said, hey Curtis, can you give a shout out to my wife Liz on her birthday? She's not a supporter but enjoys it all. Big up to your wife Liz. And we always think, you know, it's other people who have to suffer our moods sometimes, you know, from football. That's why I always say to people, man, try not to let Arsenal dictate your mood, but it's very difficult. Who you got, Parker or Wardley? Wardley punches big, but I think Parker might have him. I think he's a bit too clever, you know, but who knows? It'll be an interesting fight. Don said, Curtis, I was banned for 6 years for drink driving. See? You know, and I respect the fact that you can say that in the comments, Don, you know, but people, we have to be careful. We have to be careful, man. I'm telling you now. Daichi is back. Hey, I told you, people. Wheat bricks, wheat wood, wheat concrete. Clean sheet. Beat Porto 2-0. Porto have won 10 games in a row in all competition. 28 goals scored, 2 conceded. They go to Forest, get beat 2-0. Sean Dyche first game. Big him up, man. Ian Wone and Steve Stone there, 2 former Forest players. Do you know what I mean? I was delighted. I've got friends who work at Forest, and I'm interested to see how Sean Dyche does, because he's known as a bit of a long ball merchant who doesn't play good football, but he's got a good team there. So it'll be interesting to see how he does at Forest. So yeah, good luck to Daishi there at Forest. Big win, man. Porto and no mugs. Rigo said HM Son will be looking for a team in the winter while MLS is on a break. And he wants to be fit for the World Cup. Would you take him for half a season? He's too he's Tottenham, man. He's Tottenham. I wouldn't take Son from the MLS. Let him go back to Tottenham on loan. He's ingrained in Tottenham, and he's not great anymore either, to be honest. And Mr. Me said, Curtis, do you think 4-4-2 would confuse a lot of modern defenders? I would love to see Havertz and Gyökeres up top. Yeah. Simple answer, yeah, I would. Football kind of moves in roundabouts, don't it? I feel like you need a trendsetter to do it, make it work, and then other managers will follow, Growing up, everybody played 4-4-2. It's Mourinho and Pep and Rafa Benitez were kind of the managers that went to 4-3-3. Fernando Torres, Drogba, Messi, David Villa, that team at Barcelona, they all wanted to dominate the midfield. And they went with a three-man midfield and one up front. But I would love to see two strikers because I don't think that defenders are as good anymore because they only have to play against one striker. So yeah, man's made a profile with my name with a K. You're a disgrace. What do you mean MLS? Not Lewis Skelly. Major League Soccer will have a break. So sometimes you can take players from there on loan short term. But no, I wouldn't want Son. I would probably take Harry Kane. And I heard Harry Kane's got some release clause at the end of the season. I would take Kane, we know Kane is an Arsenal fan deep down, but he has to run with this narrative. But he's a gooner. He was there with red hair at the parade. Curtis, deep down, I want Deitch to do well. Definitely. I definitely want him to do well. Right, would you take Endrick on loan? Endrick, for me, is a fantastic player in terms of talent, but I don't think he's developed enough yet, to be honest. I don't think Endrick to Arsenal would be a good loan move for him or for us, because I don't think he would play that much. So no. Yeah, I would take Messi on loan as well, whether he would or not. I'd rather take Kendrick on. Yo, that's a bag. I'd rather take Kendrick on loan. That's good. I like that one. We definitely take. Messi signed a new deal till 2028. I thought he might retire after the World Cup. Anyway, let's get into it. I've waffled for 16 minutes. Arsenal fans will be there going, you're 16 minutes in, you haven't even mentioned Arsenal yet. So my apologies, people. We do have some breaking news from Mikel Arteta's press conference that has just come out. And it is, Mikel Arteta says, Gabriel Magalhaes is a doubt to face Crystal Palace. He left the pitch against Atletico with an issue and will be assessed over the next couple of days. This is interesting, people. I'm trying to think how I take this news and what we do if he's potentially... Listen, I'll be honest, right? A lot of players start games when they're 90% fit. A lot of you guys will have played football at various levels, 80, 90% fit, 95% you'll play. You've got a bit of pain, you've got a bit of a knot, you're a bit sore, you'll play through that. I'm looking at it going, well, on Wednesday, we've got Brighton in the Carabao Cup. Gabriel doesn't need to have anything to do with that game midweek. So he's going to have a 7-day risk. I suppose you can't risk him, to be honest. You can't risk him. I was thinking about this two ways, right? And I'll be totally honest with you. On one hand, I'm thinking, you're playing against Crystal Palace. You're playing against Mateta, who's big, strong, aggressive. He's in form. You do really want Gabriel to play that game. However, every decision that we make has to be a long-term decision. And the reality is, you're talking about a player that had surgery on his hamstring. And you just can't risk him. You can't risk him. So, listen, hopefully it is mind games. He did come off. He did come off midweek with 18 minutes to go, and so obviously there was a problem. So listen, if he's not 100%, don't risk him. Now, I suppose the question is, people, what is the solution if he doesn't play? Do you leave Lewis Skelly at left back? Play Calafiori left-sided centre-back? Do you play Nkapia left-sided centre-back? Do you play Mosquera and Saliba at centre-back? How would you approach it? I suppose if Nkapia, not fully match fit, do I want his first game to be against an in-form Mateta? I'm not sure I do. I would probably go with Mosquera. I know then you don't have a left footer at centre back, but just a little bit more tried and tested. He's tall. Although I am really intrigued to watch Nkapia play. I think he would go with Mosquera at centre back with Saliba just because he's made his debut. You got to understand, Crystal Palace are no mucks. Like, this is a hard game this weekend. Mateta's one of the most informed players in the league at the moment. Just scored a hat trick. I don't think that would be ideal for Nkapia. I would go with Mosquera. I would go with Mosquera. You give Nkapia maybe his debut against Brighton in midweek. But I do want to see him play. So Mikel Arteta has said Gabriel Magalhaes is a doubt. He left the pitch against Atletico with an issue. Will be assessed over the next couple of days. Obviously, if he's fit, you play him. And the great thing is, people, think about the conversation we're having today, the conversation we were having 3 years ago. Oh, Saliba's injured. Who are we going to play? Oh, we're going to have to play Rob Holding. Look how that conversation has evolved, as Arteta always says. We're now talking about Nkapia, a £45 million defender, or Calafiori, a £40 million defender, or Mosquera, who's looked very good since coming into the team. Look at those three options compared to Bob Boldin. So it shows we've come a long way, people, which is a positive. There's rumours Bert approached Alvarez. Listen, it wouldn't surprise me. That guy could... that guy could sell rice to a chef, honestly. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Alvarez, I think, will be frustrated because he's reached a level now. Maybe Atletico are not matching that level. So I would take Alvarez at Arsenal all day long. What do you guys think? LSU Gunner, hope you had a good birthday the other day, bro. He said it can't be Calafiori. Too risky, gets caught out of position. In pre-season, he played left centre-back one game. Was it the Milan game? No, it was the Newcastle game. And I thought he looked quite good. And it is his natural position, but would he do it? Big up views for the raid. I appreciate that. Big up yourself, man. Don says Mateta will bully Saliba. Well, we hope not. We hope not. Moami said, give the spot to Mosquera. Seems to share a similar aggressive profile to Gabby and would complement Saliba. Guna Pot Pie, big up Big C and the GOAT community. Happy Friday, boys. Let's get that bag. Let's do it, people. Let's do it. Listen, we'll delve into some other stories as well. Hope everyone is well on this Friday. Big up the Twitch gang as well. Can never forget about the Twitch viewers as well. Imagine Jokeres and Alvarez. Crazy. Yeah, apparently Haaland's launched a YouTube channel. A lot of footballers now. I think Cristiano Ronaldo doing it, and then I think Bellingham's done one. I see James Maddison's done one. I think this is the way football's going to go. Day in the life of a pro footballer, Haaland. You know what? I might have a look at that video. It's got 177,000 subscribers, 820,000 views. I think this is the way it's going. Have you noticed now, people, that ex-pros left, right, and centre, podcasts popping up everywhere, absolutely everywhere. I see Paul Scholes has got one with Nicky Butt. You've obviously got the overlap. Rio Ferdinand's got one. You've now got I saw Jermaine Pennant's got one with Jermaine Genius. This is the way it's going, people, you know. So I am thankful that it's a very saturated market now, you know, very, very, especially Arsenal. I think Arsenal have probably got the most content creators out of any football club in the Premier League. There's so many, and it's a very, very saturated market. So I'm very thankful that we kind of got established before it got swarmed with content creators. Yeah, Obi Mikel, Lineker and Shearer, David Seaman, cycling GK, man. Ben Foster's method was just outstanding. Outstanding. You know, he had the GoPro in the goal. I think that's how you've got to sort of think a step ahead with the content that you're doing, because so many people are doing the same content. He smashed it with that. Yeah, I got to be honest, Pennant and Genus, and they're both from Nottingham, so big 'em up. But yeah, I'll be honest, man. You're right, Asha. I watch YouTube more than TV. To be honest, I don't really watch TV. You know, YouTube is the way forward. Right. Anyway, let's move on, people. Let's move on. We got a few things to do. We're going to look ahead to the game predicted 11. Some interesting fixtures this weekend as well. I don't know if you guys have seen that Mo Salah took Liverpool out of his bio on Instagram and Twitter, and there's a big thing going on online now about Mo Salah today, saying, you know, will they get rid of him at the end of the season? Basically, will they let him go to Saudi? But it's interesting. I think a lot will depend on his form between now and the end of the season. Somebody made a great point earlier in the chat as well. That Crystal Palace played last night, went full strength and lost. So Arsenal really should have no excuses with beating Crystal Palace. I know Palace are a good team. I know they're in good form, but they've played 48 hours later. They lost, and they were at full strength. Listen, it's a tough game. We should be beating them. Yeah, the new Arsenal retro merch. I'll be honest. Retro merch. When I saw that come out yesterday, that video, I went, ah, damn. Honestly, I'll be totally honest. You know why? Because I had that shirt and I lost it. Don't know about anybody else. I had loads of shirts when I was younger. They end up in, you know, the in a cupboard at your mum's house or something, and then you end up losing them, and then they come back around as retro. But I love that shirt. And, you know, Kevin Campbell was at Arsenal. I thought I could buy that and put Campbell on the back out of respect to Kev. I haven't bought it. It's £90 as well. But anyway, I do like that shirt. Spark said, people come for authenticity. Big C has put the work in. Community is lively as well. I'm not even an Arsenal fan. I know everybody bigs up their own community, and naturally you should do, but I think this community is the best community on YouTube. We don't even have to do anything about, you know, comments or anything. I think people know they can come in this chat and say something critical of me. As long as you say it in a respectful way, we'll still have that conversation, you know? Like Lloyd said, has going to AFTV affected you in Turkish? No, it hasn't. We will be doing OGs. We were supposed to do it this week, but we'll get it done next week. I think people have to understand, I was always on AFTV the whole time I've been on YouTube. I've just obviously gone on to a show that Turkish was on before, and he's doing his show and it's doing well, and you never know, I might feature on that show at some stage in the future as well. So no, man, it's YouTube, it's business, people, you know what I mean? Still waiting for the greatest biscuit debate, Big. Well, there'll be plenty of games where I'm sure we'll be, well, hopefully we won't be bored, actually. We want to be enjoying the game enough where we don't have to talk about biscuits, you know? Big up you, Dupe, who said, first time watching the live, always hours late. Hey, it's worth waiting for, though, you know what I mean? Best channel in YouTube, Curtis Your TV speaks only truth. I appreciate that. I like this. Big C, you're a champion. I like this. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's no, but you listen, you can ask me that, man. You can ask me anything that's, you know, on your mind, people, feel free. Feel free. You got to do a feature on Turkish News Show. Yeah, listen, like I said, there's a possibility in the future, you know? Extra Red said, I watched Bayer Leverkusen play 15 times last season when I lived in Germany. Don't sleep on the dude. He's a monster. I'm happy he's with us now. How good is he? How good is this guy in Capia? How good is he? What's his best position? A lot of people saying he's a left back. He should play left back. AMSN, yeah, this is the best channel by far. Big up. And big up Viasna. Hello, Curtis from Cambodia. Big up to you, bro. You needed to be the fourth member. Loose cannons would have been legendary. Hey, listen, man, they're obviously rotating the fourth person on there, so it'd be features, you know? Neutral watch-alongs. You're right, Martin. You're right. You are right. I've had a very busy last few weeks. And yeah, I've been struggling to get the games in, I'll be honest with you. Nuno said, Big C, I'm currently on week 5 after ACL surgery. Any tips? I mean, bro, honestly, get well soon. Thankfully, I never had an injury like that. So, you know, I think the longest injury I had, I tore my quad. I was out for about 4 months. But, you know, you've just got to get that rehab done, haven't you? It's all about the rehab and get yourself a really good physio, even if you have to pay, you know. Anyway, Broski, I love the Arsenal shows. Show me some love. Sending some love from sunny Derbyshire. Is there sun in Derbyshire? Big up Curtis from Cali. Used to watch on YouTube, never got notifications. Switched to Twitch. Now always get. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, man. Get them notifications out. Anyway, let's look to the future, people. Let's look to the future. And somebody that will be in the future of Arsenal is Max Dowman. Max Dowman has reached an agreement with Arsenal to sign a new contract. A pro deal will be expected to follow when he turns 17, which will be December the 31st, 2026. The 15-year-old could have moved anywhere and for more money, but only wanted Arsenal. Saw a story today that Chelsea, Manchester City, Barcelona, and Real Madrid all wanted Max Dowman. As you can imagine, 15 years of age on a youth contract, he would have cost very, very little money on that kind of deal. So you can imagine every big club around Europe was waiting to, to get him and sign him. He signed a scholarship. He can't sign a professional deal at the moment. He signed a scholarship that will take him until next New Year's Eve, and then he should sign a professional deal then. So, you know, this could have gone wrong. He could have just said, you know what, I'm not getting a chance. Yamal, these youngsters are getting games at Barca. I'll go somewhere else. So, very lucky that he stayed, to be honest. You know, very lucky that he stayed. And the problem you've got is that a lot of these clubs around Europe now, I mean, Barcelona had a 17-year-old making his debut the other day in the Champions League, looked really good. Lamine Yamal was 16 in the team, you know. They might be thinking, I mean, realistically, people will say Max Dowman's only 15. He turned 16 in December, but 16-year-olds are playing. 17-year-olds are playing at big clubs. Dortmunds and these guys are putting young players in the team. Also, Max could be looking at it going, well, if I want to play in the 10, I've got Eze, I've got Odegaard. He puts Marino there sometimes. Waneri plays there. How am I getting game time there? On the right, you've got Saka. You've got Noni Madueke. Waneri can play there. You know, he could have been looking at it going, I haven't got a clear way to get through at Arsenal. But listen, boyhood Arsenal fan. His dad was on tour. Some of the lads spoke to him. His dad's an Arsenal fan. He's an Arsenal fan. They love the club. This is where he wants to be. He's still in school, people. He's still in school. He hasn't even done his GCSEs yet. So, you know, he's got plenty of time. I just always wonder with players like this, though, how do you develop them? How do you develop them is always the question that I ask, because you can look at it and go, what a talent. But my question is, how do you get him to where he needs to be in 2 years? How do you get him in 3 years? Sometimes you've got to loan players out, even when they're top talents. You've got to make sure we don't do the Reece Nelson thing to Ethan Waneri, to Lewis Skelly, to Max Dowman. I remember speaking to people who worked at Arsenal, and they said, this boy Reece Nelson, he's the one. He's the one who's going to... He's ahead of Saka. In the England under-21s, they said he was better than Sancho. And within 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you're looking at Reece Nelson going, well, nothing's changed. He's the same player. Sancho went to Dortmund, became one of the best young wingers in the world, went to United for 75 million. Saka's become arguably our best player, best attacking player. Reece Nelson's just stuck in a rut. So you've got to make sure you develop a player properly. Either he does get enough game time, or you've got to loan them out so that they develop somewhere else, you know? And I always bring that up with Ethan Nwaneri, and people go, he's only 18, but I don't buy into that he's only 18 thing. If you're good enough, you need to play football, even at 18, 17, whatever. So, but this is great news because, like I said, he could have gone. We've seen people like Chido Obi, Aiden Heaven. They both went to Man United for very cheap on youth contracts. You know, can you imagine a player like Max Dowman leaving at this stage? So great news for Arsenal. Big up Glennies, who said, love your channel, Curtis. Alan from Suffolk, big up to you. Really appreciate you tuned in. Angel said, I believe we will have to end up selling Nwaneri and keep Dowman. Hard to play both. There's a lot of traffic, you know. I've always thought Nwaneri can be a superstar, but it's all going to be down to how much game time he gets. Ghost Steel said, Robbie said that Timber is better than James. What do you honestly think? Remember, James has played in more finals, great defensively and offensively. Prime Reece James is outstanding. The reality is we haven't seen Prime Reece James for a long, long time. So right now, I think Timber is better than Reece James. I think he's the best right back in the Prem. Because if you can't get on that pitch on a regular basis, you're not useful enough to that team, you know? So, yeah, Reece James can say he's won the Champions League and things like that. But right now, I don't think anybody would pick Reece James out of Timber because we're still in a situation where we feel like, oh, is Reece James going to get through the season without getting injured? You know, and as a manager, you would never rather have a player like that. I also think Timber is better defensively. What I will say, Reece James got fantastic delivery going forward. But I think Timber's improving going forward as well. World Boss 3 again said, Big C, Dowman lives near the club and his family have been season ticket holders for years. Don't see him leaving soon. Well, I hope not. We're very well drilled off the ball. Takes time for Nwaneri, as you can see, says Sab. Kieran Summer said, love the channel. You say it how it is. Yeah, man, listen, I always think, what is the point setting up a YouTube channel, building a community, and then compromising yourself? What is the point? Now, people want different things out of YouTube. Some people want to work for Arsenal. Some people want to work for a newspaper. Some people want to work on the radio. Some want to be on Sky Sports. I never set up this channel to work for Sky, to work for the radio, to work for Arsenal. I actually wouldn't want to work for Arsenal, to be honest, because you're completely compromised once that happens. You know, you're completely compromised. If Arsenal offered me a job right now in their media team, I would reject that within 1 second. I'd say no, because then I have to say what you want me to say. So for me, I'm just a football fan. I'm just a football fan. And you know I don't mix my words. You know, I say exactly what I think about players, about the manager. Not everyone agrees with it. And that's what it is. So, you know, would you work for Arsenal if they offered you 30k a month? I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't. Maybe 30k a week, then, you know what I mean? You give me that Premier League money, Don, then we'll have a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? We're going Bahamas 3 times a year, but 30k a month now, man, they can keep that, bro. They can keep that. Hey, man, I'm telling you. But, hey, Samuel said, keep up the good work, Curtis. You're my favourite Arsenal YouTuber and you're extremely funny. I tried to be. You know what I mean? Only the truth will set you free. Only the truth will set you free. Great words. We'll have a look, people. We'll have a look. Would you wear a Spurs shirt forever for £100 million? 100 mil, bro. I'll wear no clothes forever for £100 million. You know what I'm saying? For 100 mil? Jeez. You know what I mean? I'll go back to the old times. I'll walk around barefoot for 100 mil. For 30k, C would be a top 30k a week. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, people, listen, we had a hard up, but I was in Quick Save as a kid, people. They don't know. You know the orange juice that you tip into your water and then you drink it and it's got no flavor. You're like, what kind of orange juice is this? 2 litre bottle of orange juice that's like 20 pence You pour it in the water, going, just give me some flavor, and you drink it. You go, what the hell is this water or is this orange? Humble beginnings, people. Humble beginnings. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, um, always the bad guy said, best Arsenal creator hands down, Big C. Seriously, I only listen to you and judges because you're real. Wish you every success in the future. Big up to you, bro. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Co-op pizzas, quick save. It was real. Tap water, man. You know what I'm saying? These kids don't know. My kids don't drink tap water. They don't drink tap water. We look at tap water like it's, get that away from me. You know what I mean? I look at tap water now like it's undrinkable. Growing up, I was drinking it out of the tap directly, like the water fountain. You know what I'm saying? All kinds of fluoride in there. The water was grey and all sorts. They don't know, man. They don't know. Tough times never last, people. Tough times never last. You know? Yeah, those times. And you know what? When you grow up like that, it's normal to you anyway. You know? It's normal to you. Look, I used to drink out the garden hose. It's madness. It's madness. They don't know. They don't know. That Eze shirt finna look good on me, said Angel. Yeah, oh man, I've got to get the giveaway sorted. I'm tempted to just give it away in a watch along because by the time I do this 100k stream, that shirt won't even be the season. I need to get it. Council Pop, man, you know what I mean? Tap water is good in Loughborough. Well, maybe better part of the country for water, maybe. Um, but yeah, man, cereal with water, bro. You know, and the milk's ran out. You tipped it. You're like, oh, I didn't fill the bottle. Gotta put some water in there to get it to the top. Anyway, I said, damn, I'm chugging tap water right now. Hey, Clint, do what you need to do, bro. In England, it might be different. Different parts of the world, you might have some good, good tap water. Andre said the best thing being from South Sweden, tap water better than any bottled. Fair play to you, bro. Fair play to you, man. But in England, man, you better run that tap for a long time. You know, Costco water is the flex. Yeah, come back with crates of it. John Hefford, I've always been Arteta in. If Arteta and Pep would have swapped jobs the last 3 seasons, what would have been the difference with trophies, do you think? Pep is struggling now, he hasn't got the best squad. I think if Pep was the Arsenal manager, let me be honest here. If Pep was the Arsenal manager, I think we'd have 2 Premier Leagues in the last 3 years. I'll be honest. Last season, maybe not. We were just poor last season and the window wasn't good enough. Because Pep is not going to allow Rob Holding to be the cover for William Saliba. If we had a solid centre-back that season, we might have won the title. If we had remember, we bought Kivior in January. The manager said he wasn't ready for the Premier League. You know what I mean? He said he wasn't ready for the Premier League. If you'd have spent 25 million on a solid centre-back that stepped in with Gabriel, we were still solid, we might have won the league. 23-24, sorry. You buy a proper striker, we win the title that year. Do you know what I mean? He bought Havertz. I don't think Pep buys Havertz for £65 million. Last year, I don't think he would have. So I think we'd have won 2 of them. I think Pep would have lifted 2 titles at Arsenal. Don't sell your soul for 30k a week. That's chump change, bro. F what you heard. Nah, I know, bro. I know. I'm joking. But yeah, man, money comes and goes, people. You know what I mean? Money comes and goes. Big up Mohammed though. And Damir said, Big C, thoughts on your mall talking crazy before El Clasico. Who do you think wins it? What's he said? I haven't actually seen what he said. Lamin's had a few injury problems this year, hasn't he? Let me try and get some of his quotes. Lamina's rattled the whole Real Madrid fan base with one interview. What has he said, though? Give me some quotes. Do Real Madrid steal? He responded, yes, they steal and then complain. That's what they do. The players are tired of him. Apparently, he's fallen out with some teammates in Barcelona. Does not respect the code amongst professionals. Apparently, people are complaining at Barcelona about his attitude. He said that Real Madrid steal. Barcelona make players. Real Madrid steal players. Listen, I don't mind that. You know what I mean? I don't mind that. That just adds to the game. I always preferred Barcelona to Real Madrid, personally, just because growing up, they've always had a Brazilian player that I loved, whether it be Romario, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, R9, Neymar. I've always liked Barca. The only time I didn't like Barca is when they cheated against us. Is that this week, right? I saw that Rafinha's out, but they'll probably have Rashford. Rashford's playing well. That'll be a good game. That'll be a good game, you know. We'll have to look at that. Oh, I'd love Yamal. Can you imagine Yamal at Arsenal? But then what do you do with Saka? You're moving Saka to the left. Anyway, let's move on, people. Let's move on. Big up to everyone locked in. 2,000 of you locked in. T. Dot said you need to do a show on the bombs Arteta has signed. I think I did a show about them before, you know. We looked at all the players that he signed. Obviously, that's higher now. I think he's signed about 38 players now, I think. KD says, big up Big C, thoughts on Slot's waffle about the United game, the ball being in the air and calling Newcastle United a small club when asked about Isak. No one's talking about it, not even in the media. If it's Arteta, they mock him. I saw the comments about Newcastle. Do you know what it is, right? I'll be honest with you, right? The bit about Man United was nonsense, right? That was just nonsense, right? It's an excuse. Man United are not as good as Liverpool. They ain't going to go to Liverpool, try and play pure football and win. If they do that, they get battered. So they got to make the game scrappy. They got to be direct. I'm not interested when managers make those excuses. So that is pure waffle. However, don't you think personality has disappeared out of football? Go and watch the press conferences of the managers. They're all saying the same thing. You've got a few of them that speak it as it is, which is why I used to be such a big fan of Mourinho, because he just say mad things. Pep, you can tell Pep hates the media when he's doing a press conference. We can't on one hand say we want personalities, and when they give you a bit of personality, we're offended by it. Listen, Slot is the Liverpool manager. Compared to Liverpool, Newcastle are not a big club compared to Liverpool. They are becoming a bigger club, but they're not a big club compared to Liverpool. That's the reality of the situation. They've never won the Premier League. They've never won a European trophy in recent time. They hadn't won a trophy for nearly 70 years. I don't mind it. You know how them Dutchmen are, man. They just say it. Yeah, man, little club, we took your best player. I'm here for that. I'm sorry. I'm here for that, man. I don't like the bit moaning about the style of play. That's absolute nonsense. That's pure waffle. That's pure waffle. But saying little club Newcastle, I think that's funny. I think that's really funny, actually. Donald said, just tuned in. See, I heard Gabriel got a knock here. Arteta saying he's a doubt for Sunday. But you won't defend this much for our manager. Do you know the difference, Jay? One's got a title, one hasn't. When you've got a title, you can waffle because that title, that covers it. When you waffle with no trophies, the waffle ain't really interesting. You know what I mean? So that's the difference. I'll be totally honest with you, Jay. Arteta wins the title this year. Waffle as much as you want, my friend. But trophies make all the difference, you know? And just in terms of this weekend, I want to bring a debate to the community. Robbie asked me this on the show in the week, and who would you play this Sunday at left back out of Lewis Skelly and Calafiori? I said I would play Lewis Skelly, right? I'm a fan of Lewis Skelly. I think he's amazing on the ball. I do think he's going to play Calafiori, just because I think he will play Lewis Skelly on Wednesday against Brighton. So he'll go, Skelly play Champions League. I'll give Calafiori the league game, and I'll bring Skelly back in for the game midweek. I also think because Ismaila Sarr plays on the right-hand side for Palace, our left-hand side, he will go with Calafiori. Sarri's a tall winger. A lot of wingers are not that tall. He's tall. So they've got that aerial threat. Sarr, Mateta, they're dangerous in the air. I think he will definitely go with Calafiori at left back. The only reason I went with Skelly is just because I just like him as a player. I don't think I just love what he can do on the ball. I love what he can do on the ball. But defensively, even in that game, he should have got booked. He should have got booked. So I think it will be Calafiori, and it probably should be Calafiori, to be honest, just because of the opposition. I'm just still not totally comfortable with him, but he's had a very good season so far. So no matter what I think of him, I do have to give him some credit. I rate him a lot higher than I did at the start of the season, Calafiori. It's chaos. It's chaos, but I suppose it's working, And sometimes I think Skelly, I'm contradicting myself here because I've said pick Skelly and then now I'm giving reasons why it won't be Skelly. You can tell that Skelly is not a defender. He doesn't switch on as quickly. Calafiori is a natural defender. Grew up in Italy, played in Serie A. You know that Serie A specializes in defending, so I think he switches on quicker. But what I'm saying is, I don't want Lewis Skelly to just be sort of out of the team for 7 or 8 games. I think there's a player there that needs rotation as well. LSU said agreed Calafiori back, then MLS during next week. Big up my bro Akeem. He said Skelly's awareness not closing the player when Rayot made the mistake. Just doesn't have that defensive mindset. My argument the other day was we've spent how many years was he in the team? We spent like 7 or 8 years saying Trent's not that good defensively. But we also said Trent is a generational right back on the ball. So I think sometimes, number one, you can develop that defensive side of your game. Number two, you can be so good on the ball that they put up with. But ultimately, if Gabriel is out, I would go with Mosquera next to Saliba. Calafiori, it's a tall back four. We've got to remember Sarr and Mateta's aerial threat. So, yeah, listen, I don't think Lewis Skelly will play. Calafiori, left centre-back, Nkapie, left-back. He prefers a left footer at left centre-back. He does. I just think Nkapie is not match fit. He might be fit in terms of training. He's not match fit. I don't think Crystal Palace at home is a game to make your debut in when you're not match fit against someone like Mateta, who is in beast mode at the moment. I'd much rather play Mosquera. I know then we don't have a left footer at centre back, but I don't think you have to have a left footer at centre back, to be honest. So I would play Nkapie against Brighton midweek in the Carabao Cup. So yeah, listen, great options. And can we keep another clean sheet? Andre said, not on Sunday, but maybe in the week. Rest Rice and let Miles Lewis Skelly do the box-to-box. It's interesting, right, Andre, Wednesday's game, because on one hand, I want to see a lot of changes for that game. I think certain players, I think Timber, I think Rice, I think Saka, a lot of those key players need a rest. But the other thing is, I think it's a very important game. I really, really want Arsenal to win the Carabao Cup. And some people go, yeah, but that's the 4th trophy in the list. It's not that important. I just think so many times I've seen managers use that trophy to springboard them on to go and win the Champions League or go and win the Premier League. This team needs to learn how to win a trophy. That competition ends in like March. Can you imagine Arsenal winning the Carabao Cup in March, going into that March, April, May, which is crunch time of the Premier League and the Champions League? Can you imagine the mindset that would give Arsenal? Look how many times Mourinho won that trophy. Look how many times Pep won that trophy. Those are two of the best managers we've ever seen in this division. If they can win it, I think Arteta should be saying, listen, I need to go and win that Carabao Cup. So it'll be interesting what team he picks for that. But our second choice is even strong. You could put Kepa in goal, Ben White at right back. You could play Skelly at left back. You could play Nkapia and Mosquera at centre back. I think that as a back four and goalkeeper could still beat Brighton. Midfield, you could maybe go. I mean, you've got so many options. You could go Norgard, you could go Lewis Skelly, you could go Ethan Waneri, you could play Dowman on the right, you could play Trossard on the left, you could play Marino up top. I don't know. You could literally change most of that 11, and I think we would still probably get past Brighton. You kind of hope that Brighton rotate a little bit as well. It depends how much they're going to go for it. But I want Arsenal to win the Carabao Cup. I haven't seen Arsenal play at Wembley in a cup final for a long time. Last FA Cup final was lockdown. We couldn't watch them in the stadium. So I think Arteta should be all over that Carabao Cup. Doctor said, it's so annoying to me that we know that second half against Atleti is in the locker, yet Arteta's still imposing toothless, unsustainable Tim Lewis hairline tactics. I think Arteta is on this sort of like control thing. Whether we agree with it or not, I don't think he wants to play like all out attack, or not even all out attacks. We're not asking for all out attack. I just want Arsenal to get games over with sometimes, and don't drag them out or defend when you're at 1-0 because we know how good our back four is. So we're relying on the defense to get us out of it. I don't want that. I want Arsenal to put games away. Now I'm looking at Palace is a different game, by the way. So I'm not talking as if Palace are easy. But there's games sometimes where Arsenal go 1-0 up and you think, go and score the second and the third and end the game rather than defending and trying to nick it 1-0. But hopefully the mindset changes. We're winning, so I can't complain, I can't complain. I always said, I don't care how the football looks if we win, to be honest. When they put your name on the trophy, they don't say how you got it. And let's be honest, if you look at the Premier League, we are third top scorers in the league. Man City got 17, Chelsea got 16, we've got 15, and we've got the best defence. So, factually, he can still turn around Arteta and go, well, we are still, scoring goals. We're third top scorers, and we got the best defence. So, listen, we're not going to get everything all the time, Being top of the league is the most important thing. So, but yeah, I agree. I still think we can go up another level in terms of the attack. I really do. Anyway, people, let's hear what the manager had to say. Is Ozil a Prem legend? I would say no. I think he's a La Liga legend, a German international legend based off what he won. But a few FA Cups and no Premier League title. He's not a Premier League legend. He's a great player, but he's not a legend. He's not an Arsenal legend, never mind a Premier League legend, but a fantastic player. I think we wasted Ozil, to be honest. We didn't have a good enough team to get the very best out of him, Mikel Arteta, wow, what a smile, the Colgate smile. Mickey Rouse, the boss, Cone Man music, he's back. The Cone Man is top of the league. He's all smiles. There's not a hair out of place. The most attacking manager in the league, guys. I think he thinks. Do you know what? Right, I speak to somebody at Arsenal who's in a good position at Arsenal in terms of he's around the manager and he's around the big hitters. And he said, I'll speak to him the other day, and one of the things that he said, I won't give his name away, obviously, but he said, one of the things that he said to me on the message, he said, there's definitely something different this season. You can feel it in the air. I thought he was on about the Beanie Siegel hip hop track from back in the day. I can feel it in the air. Something going on. Feel funny. Anyway, if you're a hip hop fan, you're there with me. But yeah, it is what it is. He said it feels different, people. By the way, I remember having a conversation with this guy last summer, and he said to me, he tried to justify. I remember he rang me at the end of the transfer window last year, and he was like, "Decent window, yeah?" And I said, "No, shocking window." And he was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, Calafiori's this and Marino's that, and Sterling, look at what he's won, and Neto, Brazilian international. I said, no, no, no. That window is going to ruin our season. And at the end of the season, he was like, boy, you was right. But this one, we did kind of both agree. But by the way, when I spoke to this guy in the summer, he was telling me how good Sesko was. So I said, I can see what's going on here. Arteta's corrupted you. Now we've signed Gyökeres. Oh, Gyökeres, brilliant. I said, yeah, but you wanted Sesko all summer. You know what I'm saying? People say Lee's in the chat. Lee Gunner's in the chat. Is it his real account? You know, you get these. It is his real account. Yo, big up Lee Gunner in the chat. Big up yourself. Oh, he is it? Yeah, big up, man. Said yes, Curtis in the chat. Big up yourself, bro. Yeah. I mean, you listen. He works for the club. They're all. When I go on tour, I speak to multiple Arsenal staff members. It's an echo chamber. There's nobody that says anything different to what you hear from the manager. You know, it's all the same. So when they hear people like me talk, they can't believe it. But yeah, it is what it is. Big up to everyone locked in. Listen, I'm going to apologise in advance because you know what's happening here, people. You know what's about to happen here. You're going to be bored to tears. But anyway, at least we're top of the league, so we'll endure it. On the latest team news following our win over Atletico, not much. Big Gabby had to leave the picture of an issue. He hasn't been able to train yet. Let's see how he evolves. He evolves, people, like a Pokemon in the next 24 hours. See whether he's available or not. Is he playing mind games? Is he doing, prime Jose Mourinho? Or do we have a problem? Who do you put in the team if Gabby's not available? I'd go Mosquera Saliba, personally. Just because he's tried and tested. Nkapia looks very good from what we've seen, but he's not match fit. And I think Mateta's not the kind of striker you want to play against while you're trying to get match fitness. He's a bully. You know what I mean? I don't think you should risk that. I would play him against Brighton on Wednesday. So yeah, on longer term injuries to Madueke, Odegaard, Havertz and Jesus, they are progressing well, starting to do certain activities. They're all super willing to be available as quick as possible. At the moment, none of them are yet in contention in the next week or so. Apparently, Jesus is kicking a ball now. I don't think Havertz is yet. Odegaard after the international break. I don't know about Madueke. I saw something saying Madueke could be back for the Bayern Munich game. It'd be interesting. I mean, you bring them four back, you got to take four people off the bench. Who's going to get dropped off the bench? That's how far we're going. On conceding 3 goals in our first 12 games, on if there's motivation to break Chelsea's record. We want these kind of records. We've been getting a lot of them. At the end, we want to bring silverware and the trophies. It's funny that, isn't it, right? You know when people go online and say, we've got to win trophies. Oh, no, it's not about trophies. It's the journey. Blah, blah, blah. And then the manager himself is saying, we need trophies. So it's like, we're all saying, what I've realised with Arsenal fans, we all want the same thing, but people don't like the way you deliver the message. Even if you speak to the Arteta fanboys, they still want Arsenal to win. The people who they think are harsh on him, they still want Arsenal to win. We all want the same thing, but people don't like the message and the way you deliver the message, That's the crazy thing about it. The manager himself knows that he's got to win. We do need to win. How can anybody look at this team and think this team isn't capable of winning the league or capable of winning multiple trophies this season? Yeah, they don't like the pressure. That's the thing. They think we're putting more pressure on him. But you're supposed to thrive on pressure at the top level, On Eze coming up against his former club this weekend, he said it's a big game for us because last season here we dropped some points. It's the 4th game in a row we're going to play against opponents that we drop points, and this season we've been able to beat them. So our focus is on that. We know that for Ebbs, it's going to be a very special match, and with the history and what he did for Palace, but the focus is on the team. The Eze derby, people. The Eddie Nketiah derby. The Sambi Lokonga derby. The Ian Wright derby. There's been a lot of connections with Palace. Calling him Ebbs. Well, I like that. Because I always say, he only speaks about certain players like Ebbs is his nickname. I hear it when, you hear the England training videos, they all call him Ebbs. So, man like Ebbs, you know. Man like Ebbs. Hopefully he starts. And if our previous game against Palace forms part of our messaging, if we want a very different outcome, we better do different things than we did last year, especially in these fixtures. We know what Palace are doing. Oliver is doing for the football, Oliver Glasner. And the way they are getting results, it's going to be a tough match. We're going to play in front of our crowd, and we are confident if we hit our level, we have a big chance to win it. On the challenge of leaving players out of the team, given the strength of the squad, he said there are two sides of it. One, the emotional part and my attachment with the individual, with the person. I would love to play them all. But the second one, obviously, without a question of doubt, I'd rather have this situation. The situation we had in the last few years when at some point we were short in numbers, we've created a strong environment. He knows, man. On Mateta's form and how to stop him, first of all, it's what they do as a team, the level of... Yeah, we don't need to read that. On what the conversation with Gyökeres was like after his 2 goals on Tuesday, it didn't need a conversation. He just needed a hug. He just needed a hug. And just look at him and enjoy how happy he was after the game. I think we're all very happy because he fully deserves that. He just needed a hug, people. You know what I mean? You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. He just needed a hug, guys. The most attacking hug in the league, guys. He just needed a hug. That's all. That's all he needed. He's back. He's back. And if he's concerned, we only have 5 goals from open play. Yeah, we need to improve that. But he said, no, not at all, because I don't see 4 goals like open play and set pieces. I see the game in a different way. Interesting. We only have 5 goals, but he's saying I don't see 4 goals like open play. Yeah, we need to convert that from waffleese people. I don't understand. I don't understand, guys, on how we've perfected our set pieces. We've worked, first of all, creating the culture, giving that part of the game the importance it has, understanding that, again, football is evolving, the opponents are behaving against us, that we have to maximise certain things that happen very frequently. Something that happens very frequently has a lot of value. Yeah, on the point when he thought it would be smart to hone in on set pieces. 10 years ago, I think it has to be. I wasn't here, but 10 years ago, I said it's a massive thing to do that. And I started to have a vision and try to implement a method and try to be surrounded by the best people. Wow! Mikel Luther King, people. I have a dream that one day we will have towels at the side of the pitch and we will launch Rory Delap throw-ins into the penalty area, people. I have a dream. We shall overcome. I have been on the mountaintop, people. Who'd have thought, people? Played for Wenger, coached with Pep, inspired by David Moyes and Tony Pulis. Listen, it works. But to say 10 years ago, he was probably still playing 10 years ago. Was he dreaming of long throw-ins while playing for Wenger? I don't know, people. I don't know. Mikel Luther King. He had a vision that 10 years ago we were just going to launch long throw-ins into the penalty. Do we believe him? You know, I'll let it slide because we're top of the league, you know. I'll let it slide. On if we're trying to replicate Wenger's success with a tight back 4, he said, I just go back to the history of football in general and the teams that have the best defensive record most of the times, except for the last 3 seasons in the Premier League, which we did, normally win you the league. So just go against those stats, but the stronger we are in that foundation, the bigger the probability to win games are. As I said, people, the last 5 years, the top goal scorers have won the league. So it doesn't always mean having the best defense is going to win you a title. The last 5 seasons, the league's top goal scorers have won the title. We've had the best defense and still finished second. So he needs to get that balance right. And if it's tempting not to change too much when things are going well, he said they are far from perfect and there are a lot of things we must do better. Obviously, there are a lot of things we're doing very, very well. We need to maintain that. It's about understanding. Yeah, skip it. It's turned into a story time answer. On the importance of the Emirates Stadium atmosphere, he said, key, capital, one of the most important things, and I love that because we don't expect supporters to turn up to the stadium. You don't expect supporters to turn up. We want them just to play the game with us. Bring your boots, bring your pads. I want to know. If I'm going to bring my boots and pads next game, I'm going to say to Mikel, can I come on second half? He'll be like, what do you mean? I say, well, you said I expect you to turn up. I want you to play the game with us. I need a run out. That's 20. He said, which is very different. In order to do that, you have to be in your seat with a certain behavior, with a certain body language, and it's a good test. Woof. We're getting told off, people. The teacher said, everybody sit down. Nobody talk. Hey, they're doing all sorts. You better sit in your seat and behave a certain way. Otherwise, don't even bother turning up. Mikel, the dictatorship. It's a good test at Sunday at 2 p.m. how we're going to turn up after a big Champions League game. If we're going to go another step and do something we didn't do last year, everyone has to turn up to the stadium with that mindset. Bring your boots and pads, people. Turn up in your shin pads. Put your shin pads underneath your jeans, just in case he gives you a run out. He expects everybody to turn up and play, so be ready. And what it's like to play against a former club. There is something in your tummy, obviously. That might be indigestion, mate. There is history. There are a lot of emotions. There are very close relationships. You might think once you step in there and you go with that mindset, someday you have even more will to win because as well, obviously you made that decision here to be successful and to achieve something in your career. And I'm sure Ebbs, man like Ebbs, you know, is going to be ready to do that. Well, it looks like their relationship's evolving because after that miss against Liverpool, he called him Eberiche, full name, like he was angry with him. But now he's calling him Ebbs. Calling him Ebbs, I like it. They're on nickname terms, you know. Anyway, on if he saw where the game was going regarding set pieces 10 years ago. Here we go. Look at that answer, by the way. Look at that answer. Don't ask him questions like that. I've got things to do this afternoon. Look at that. Look how long that answer is. Do I really want to do that to you? I went to City with the best manager in the world and I could see where we could have improvements. It was clear at some point I was doing that and I wasn't the best person in the world to do it. So if I'm not the best person in the world to do it and the best method to do it, there are ways to improve it. If you're still awake, I appreciate it. And you could see straight afterwards when it started to happen, but it's not only obsessed with that, I'm the same with the defensive part in every transition. I want to be the best. When it comes to chaos, I want to be the best. When it comes to positional attack, guess what? He wants to be the best. When it comes to low blocks, you guessed it, the best. That's the eagerness to consistently find ways to develop your team, to evolve your team and give your players more tools to be unpredictable and more efficient. They are far from perfect. There are a lot of things we must do better. Obviously, there are a lot of things we're doing very, very well. Didn't he say that in the last answer? It's just about understanding the margins to win football games at this level are very small. In certain moments, we have sets and lots. In certain moments, we have fully the skills to win them. But that's not going to be the same trajectory all the way in the season, and we need to be prepared for that. So the more alert we are, the more urgency we have, the more desire we have for the next game, we're going to be in a better place to win the game. I've no idea what he just said. Genuinely, I've no idea what he just said. He's top of the league, so we'll let it slide. But I genuinely have no idea. Like, is that AI? Is that Chat GPT? I genuinely don't know what that is. He just said, "I want to be the best. I want to be the best," and then said it. He has to be a politician when he retires. Honestly, he would make you vote something that you didn't even want to vote just because he puts you in a trance. On Rice's set piece taking ability, again, I heard some quotes that he made this season. His position has changed a little bit, and I disagree with that because his position has evolved. Another Pokemon. He's becoming a total player. A total player has to be able to do as many things as possible, and he has the capacity to do that. So that's to evolve. More evolving, people. Honestly, Charizards everywhere. Pikachu's, Charizards all over the pitch. Start to bring something else to the team, especially when you talk about scoring goals, expecting the opposition goal even. How much have we got left, honestly? Oh, my days. Honestly, it'll be night time by the time we finish this. His answers are crazy. What Zubimendi has added to the midfield, every player is different. We have some terrific midfielders. He brings certain hierarchy, composure. It's difficult to understand. Then the way he perceives information and learns from the game, what is actually happening in the game. I'm going to have to start. Honestly, I have to. If there's more to come from him, he said a lot more. The more he understands his teammates and the timing of that. Personally, I thought Zubimendi's best game against Atletico. I thought he was outstanding apart from the yellow card. On the work we do in open play to create openings. And the other way around, football is like this. Football doesn't stop. It's all connected. You want to see the game like this? Okay. I don't. Wow. He shut down that journalist. He did not like that question, did he? I'd love to see how he answered that. Was he smiling? He does not like when you say, like, oh, goals from open play. He obviously feels a bit offended by that question. I said, you want to see the game like this? Okay, I don't. He give you a short answer when you trigger him, you see. And if teams are moving towards his way of thinking, I don't know. It doesn't mean that it's more important. Get through that. On the journey of his ideas about set pieces over 10 years. Oh, no. Who's that? He's just given you a 5-page answer on it and you want to ask more. I can't read that. We cannot do it, guys. We cannot. How many times does he say evolve in this answer? It has to be at least once. He said it about 10 times. One. You have to acquire and evolve. So, honestly, they make so many spelling mistakes in these press conferences. And evolve the players in that direction. And if this is phase 5, no, this is not about the phases. The phases was something else. Well, what phase were the phases in, Mika? Ask him that. What phase were the phases in? He said the phases was something else. The phases don't exist anymore, guys. Honestly, I want to apologize. It feels like you're in detention. It feels like the start of The Simpsons when Bart Simpson is writing the same thing on the chalkboard the whole time. I'm in agony reading this. Genuinely in agony. On if it's possible to break Chelsea's record. They asked him this earlier in the press conference. You mentioned the word if 3 times in that question. And in football, if is too many ifs. This is getting a bit iffy. It really is. I don't know what kind of press conference this is. Genuinely, they need to ban him from the press conferences. Winners the league by all means. The press conferences, lock them off. We don't need them. We don't need them. He don't like the word if. I might ask him a question with loads of ifs in pre-season. Hi, Mikel. If Arsenal don't win the league this year, and if Arsenal don't win the Champions League, will they evolve into a winning club? He said it's so unpredictable already. So on top of that, you put ifs, then it becomes extremely difficult to focus on the things that we are doing. We are doing consistently well, and if we can improve them, and let's see where we are at the end of the season. On only conceding 1 goal from open play, well, obviously, it's some... Look, you ask him about scoring goals from open play, he's annoyed. You ask him about conceding, well, obviously, it's something that's super positive. Don't mind if there, though. It's the first time that has happened in our history. Imagine how difficult it is to do it. So, yeah, we're very, very happy to be performing at that level in a really important part of the game, especially, and now it's about continuing to do it. It's over, guys. I want to apologize to all of you. I can't believe we've got 2,000 people in the chat. That is up there as one of the most painful, mind-numbing press conferences of all time. Those journalists went to university to ask him those questions. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what goes on in that room. Honestly, it's scandalous. Can you imagine watching that? Anyway, just win the league and get on with it. I don't want no more of that waffle. Did you see the news about Getz? Yeah, man. Lana, I spoke about it at the start, man. People, like I said, just be safe, man. Do not drink and drive because it can change lives, people. And, you know, an established music artist has ruined his life and somebody else's life and the people who will mourn that guy. So yeah, terrible news. Mohammed said, how many of the Arsenal players won the FA Cup when Mickey Ross are still here? Um, isn't it Saka? Wasn't Saka on the bench for that game? Was Martinelli would have been here, wouldn't he? Martinelli would have been here. But yeah, I don't think many others were there. He got rid of all of them. There's nothing negative for them to feed off. Yeah, good times. Good times, man. Let's keep it going. I think Saka and Martinelli are the only two that were there for the FA Cup. He-Man said, King Gabby is Mr. Arsenal. I feel the man introduces himself as, hi, I'm Gabby, I play for Arsenal. Like I said, there's a lot of players at Arsenal right now that if Arsenal end up winning big titles, Premier Leagues, maybe a Champions League, they will become Arsenal legends in the future. Like, genuinely, you could see Saka, Saliba, Gabriel, Declan Rice, Urian Timber. These guys could become legends of the football club if they deliver a title, you know? Saliba was on loan. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Mikel Arteta crashing out. He knows he's done for. Listen, he knows the trophies after. I think it's not even it's not even about whether you're a big fan of Arteta or not anymore. I think that whole debate has been parked up. It's you've got to win something with this team. This team is too good not to win trophies. The squad is too good not to win. We've just done Atletico 4-0. And we've still got Noni Madueke, Odegaard, Jesus, Havertz. Nkapia's not fit. You're talking maybe 5 players that can still come into this squad. Now, they don't necessarily all improve us that much, but in terms of numbers and options, it's crazy. I genuinely think Arsenal need to go and buy one player in January. If I was Arsenal, if they can afford it, which maybe they can't because they had to get Nkapia on loan, which would suggest we were about to go over the limit with PSR. If I was Arteta, I was in that, boardroom as one of the people who are running the club, I would say, can we get a game-changing left winger or somebody of that ilk? You look at that starting 11, I still look at that left-hand side and think you can upgrade on that significantly. Now, don't get me wrong, Martinelli's had a good month and he's scored some important goals. I think he got player of the month for the club as well. But if you could go into the market in January and say, you know what, we're going to go and get Rodrigo because he's still sitting on the bench at Real Madrid in a World Cup year, or we're going to go to AC Milan and go and get Leao, or we get Yildiz, or I don't know, Semenyo, I would still be looking and going, cement the title. Don't leave it to chance that, because I still look at Arsenal and I think if we lost Gyökeres, I think we'd be vulnerable. If you're turning up with Havertz or Marino up front, I think if we lost Declan Rice, we'd be vulnerable because he is so important to our midfield as that engine room. There's still a couple of players there that you think you really need to get through the whole season. Listen, I hope Martinelli keeps this level up and, he's scoring goals. But we seem to go in this circle on the left wing. Trossard comes on, does well, scores, starts a few games. You realise he's not good enough starting. So then you go to Martinelli. He has a couple of good games. Then his form drops off. So really, we need Martinelli now to kick into gear and establish himself as that left winger. Because we can't keep changing in that area. Listen, who knows when Odegaard comes back, it might end up being Odegaard with Eze on the left. Wouldn't surprise you, would it? It wouldn't surprise you. Before we round up, people, we are going to... there were some quotes from Gabriel Jesus. Yeah, honestly, man, you look at teams of the past, you need that whole front three to be operating at a high level. You look at Liverpool when they won. Firmino was outstanding in that false nine. Mane and Salah were electric. You look at, City over the years, they've had Sterling and Sané and Aguero. They've had Mahrez and Haaland and, you know, Grealish in that front three. I just think we got one more player that we could do with adding on that left-hand side. So, yeah. But big up everyone locked in, man. As I said, apologies for that press conference. That was painful. Gabriel Jesus has made some quotes. He has said his priority is to continue at Arsenal until his contract expires. I don't see myself outside the club's plans. I have a contract until 2027. If it's not renewed by then, I'll be at the club until at least 2027. Palmeiras' interest will always be there, both from them and from me. But there's been nothing formal. It's the natural interest of a kid who came through the Palmeiras youth system, went to Europe, and obviously wants to return one day. Everyone at the club knows that. Listen, I have to judge this comment in the right way. On one hand, I suppose he's showing, you know, I want to be at Arsenal. Yeah, great. You want to be at Arsenal. However, bro, come on. You're on 250 grand a week, and you know you're not going to get that anywhere else. So, of course, you don't want to leave. I actually don't like that comment. I might be cynical and I might be taking this comment in the wrong way. He might just be saying, look, I love it at Arsenal. I want to stay here and I want to help this team win. If that's what he means, then no problem. I look at it a slightly different way. I look at it and go, Gabby, you're in a World Cup year. You should be desperate to play for Brazil and get in that squad. And that might mean you need to leave. So how are you comfortable? Where are you going to play in this Arsenal team? Where are you going to play? So how can you say I'm going to be at Arsenal until my contract expires? You should be turning around and saying, look, I need to get in the Arsenal team. I actually think, people, that Gabriel Jesus is a good player, but he's not fit. He's never fit. So he could probably offer something to the group, but I think that time's up. I think that time's up. Gabby should be going on loan in January. We should be getting him off the wage bill, because the reality is no one's going to pay him 250 grand a week on a permanent contract unless a club in Saudi signs him. So the best I think you can do is get him out on loan and get a club to pay the majority of his wages. In that case, Arsenal save on wages. He gets first team football that gives him a chance of getting in the World Cup squad. Hopefully he does well and we can sell him in the summer. The Gabriel Jesus story, for me, I think that time's up. I think Arsenal need to cut their losses. Listen, I said it the other day, Jesus in the pink away kit, the black away kit, first year or so, he was balling. The knee injuries have done him. He's had too many in a short period of time. Him sitting on his contract and just being a squad player on 250 a week. Them days are done, bro. Berta can't allow that to happen. That might have happened with Edu. That can't run with Andrea Berta. Berta needs to get him in the office for a meeting January the 1st and say, brother, you're not here until 2027 when your contract runs out. Yeah? You're going on loan, so we save the wages if we can't sell you. Zinchenko, last year of his contract, you're going to Forest on loan. They're paying 100 grand a week of his 150 grand a week. Tomiyasu, they just wrote him a check and said, yeah, job done. Take the check, you're out the club. That ain't running no more with Andrea Berta, I'm telling you now. Listen, Jesus, fit, performing well. He could definitely be a good squad player, but I don't think we've got time for him to get to that level. We got Madueke, we got Eze, we got Saka, we got Gyökeres, we got Havertz, we got Marino, we got Nwaneri, Dowman, Odegaard. I don't think there's space for him to get into that squad. For me, Havertz, Jesus, Zinchenko, all of those guys this summer out of the club. Havertz, sell him this summer. 275 grand a week, get rid of him. Jesus, get rid of him. Zinni's gone. Tomiyasu's gone. No more passengers, bro. This ain't Wesley Snipes. This ain't passenger 57. Yeah? You can't. How can Havertz be the top paid player at the club? He needs to go in the summer. Arsenal should go back into the market for another striker to challenge Gyökeres. Go and buy Alvarez. That's the kind of level I want Arsenal to be at. I want Arsenal to be at the level where We've got Gyökeres and we're trying to buy Alvarez and we sell Havertz. That's where, whether that's realistic or not, but that's where I want Arsenal to be. Because we've seen him on the bench at Man City. You know, they've got Haaland and Mamouche. We need to go and get another one. So I'll be getting rid of Jesus. I'll be getting rid of Havertz. I'll be going for an Alvarez. I'd be going in for an Osimhen, like you said. He's at Galatasaray. I'm sure you could get him out of there. But listen, he'll probably give Havertz a new contract, to be honest. The manager likes Havertz. He'll get a new deal, yeah? You're right, possibly. Yeah, I'm sure Vlahovic is a free agent this summer. Daily Dusan, man, make it a on a free. Daily Dusan, I'd probably take him. I think he wants massive wages, though. But if there's no transfer fee, Dusan Vlahovic contract, I'm pretty sure it's up. Yeah, 2026. I would probably take Vlahovic on a free. I think that'd be smart business. 2 goals in 3 games in the Champions League. 2 in, he's 25. There's options, you know. I would try and get Alvarez, but listen, they're saying Alvarez, they want like 150 million. So it'd be difficult. But there's options there. There's options there. The Mikel Arteta debate will end if it when I like said he went when he wins the Premier League or Champions League or goes, yeah, I hear you, Fitz. Either leaves the club and you say you're not that top quality manager that we've been waiting for 6 years, or he wins the Prem and Champions League or one of them, and you go, okay, the top Gooners got it right. In the end, it worked. So, yeah, interesting quotes. Berta, I trust Berta, man. People said Berta was talking to Alvarez at the game the other night. Now, listen, it could have just been, well done, keep up the good work. It could have been, I'm coming for you in the summer. That's what I would like. Apparently, he's getting frustrated at Atletico. Doesn't think they can win the league. So, Alvarez to the carpet. People, big up to all of you locked in. Really appreciate your support. As always, fantastic numbers. Watch along on Sunday, of course. 2 o'clock kickoff. I'll be live at 1. I'm gonna try and get another watch along. When is that El Clasico game? Is that tomorrow or is it on Sunday? And what time is it? They better not. Oh, no, it's not tomorrow. Hope it's not clashing with the Arsenal game. It is clashing with the Arsenal game. 3:15 kickoff, and we're kicking off at. That is ridiculous. Anyway, people, keep the notification on. Hit the like button and subscribe. Click that hype button when the video finishes as well. And I will see you all soon, people.